Good morning. Welcome to day 47, Tuesday, May 26, 2026. Yeah, had some rain last night. Have a little rain this morning. I had just enough cell service to check the weather. Looks like it's going to be wrapping up around 6. It's about 5:30 now. So I'm going to start getting camp broken down. Hopefully not in too much rain. The great thing about rain overnight is I slept tremendously well, which is great. The downside is that I'll have a heavier wet tent to carry around and lug around today. Doesn't look like the sun is coming out much today. It'll just be overcast, but hopefully no more rain after this morning shower goes by. So have about 16 miles to a water source. I think it's called the Bear Harris Spring. And I think that's after folks who went to the Ghost Ranch hooked back up with the trail. So I'll be collecting water there. And then hopefully getting close to another 20-mile day is the plan, depending on how the trail is. So that is your morning update. Hopefully see you on the trail and not in the rain. Okay, once again, I got pretty lucky with the weather. The rain kind of drizzled out right when I was starting to break down. So you can see that's where my tent was, nice and dry. Just wrapping up, getting camp broken down, finishing up some coffee, then we'll get moving. I've replaced all that water I was carrying, which I'm not carrying this morning, with a wet tent. So I don't know if I'm carrying the same weight or not. The tent is really wet. I tried to get as much water off it as possible, but noticeably heavier. Just getting started. It's actually pretty comfortable out right now. But I did have sometimes you get that 1 bar of cell service and it's pretty strong, which is what was happening in my tent, which was nice. So a couple more reports about the snow coming up in Colorado were posted by some hikers on Facebook. So yeah, I'm getting pretty stoked about doing the San Juans and sticking to the red line. I think I definitely will need an ice axe. I thought maybe with a low snow year, I wouldn't have to bother with that, but I think it's prudent to have one. In addition to microspikes, which I've been carrying with me since Mexico. Yeah, so I think there is a little outfitter in Chama, like in a little trailer. Hopefully there's ice axes available. If not, I'll have to figure something else out. But kind of like with my PCT thru-hike, I just bought one right before the snow in the Sierras, and then used it, and then just left it for some other hiker to use, because it's such a hassle to ship, and by the time you pay for shipping, it's like the cost of the ice axe. So, and I've got ice axes at home, so I certainly don't need another one, but it's just easier to buy it. So yeah, pretty excited. Have about 100 miles to Colorado, a couple days in town, and then striking out for the snowy passes of the San Juans. Can't wait. All right, it's about 7 o'clock. I was just thinking, it was raining so hard late yesterday afternoon for at least like an hour. I could have easily collected a couple liters of water off of my rain fly. It's a trick I've done in the past, usually in desperate times, but would have worked really well last night. but there's just no way of knowing, A, if the rain's gonna come, and B, if it's gonna be hard enough to collect water. But man, it would have lightened my load going up those cliffs. Oh well. Okay, just random thoughts. My mind is wandering. It's 7 a.m. It's a nice trail. I got tunes on and just kind of thinking about different things. So this was how I was in my former career and how I am now. I never want to be like a one-trick pony where, you know, I don't want my job to define me. I don't want backpacking to define me, you know. Don't want to be a one-dimensional person. I think that's not great. So some of my other interests, when I got done backpacking with Sarah last year, as I was working on my PCT book, and you know, that was taking up a lot of time, but I didn't want that to be the only thing. I got more of an interest in different magic shows that came through the area, and I took up learning a bunch of card tricks and got really good at it. I even debated taking a deck of cards out on the trail here and doing some magic for thru hikers, but at least for me, that's one of those skills where you have to like practice every day for at least like a half hour to keep it up. So I've kind of lost all that, but I think I can easily get it back. But the other thing I really enjoy doing is online poker. So where I live, you can't play for real money legally, which is fine. Not that I would play for a ton of money anyway, but like $20. I'd like the tournament style. And there's a decent play money site where, you know, people pretty much play as they would with real money once you get into the higher buy-in levels. And I had a little bit of extra time in Cuba where I actually could hop on a tournament and, you know, had a lot of fun and made it to the final two tables out of like 500 people. So I really enjoy the strategy of the game. You know, there's a lot of nuance to it, and there's definitely variance where you can do everything right, make all the right mathematical decisions and still lose. And you can make the wrong decision and still win. So I enjoy it. I wouldn't mind at some point, you know, if it ever came back to the whole US where you could play legally, I would definitely enjoy doing that. I've even half jokingly talked to Sarah about moving to Canada because it's legal there. And, you know, it's fun. I even enjoy like watching other people who play. Yeah, it's just one of those things that really does my brain good. It's like similar to chess in a lot of ways. But with chess, there's no randomness, right? If you do the right mathematical play, you will always win. Where with poker, there's still that variance in it, you know. That's it. Just kind of thinking about different things. Yeah, if I can get another quick tournament in this next town, I think I'll definitely do it. It's a lot of fun, you know. I think it keeps me sharp mentally, and you know, most tournaments you play the faster ones. If you do well, you're only in it for 2-3 hours. So that's it. So someone went to the trouble of making a little stick signage of 1,000, but that doesn't make any sense to me. We're a little over mile 700 northbound. Southbound, we're nowhere near 1,000. We're way past that. So I'm not sure what the 1,000 signifies, but it meant something to someone. Made it to Highway 84. I believe this is the highway, saw away from way up on the cliffs. But at this little trailhead, there's a little bit of water left here. I may take just like a ½ liter to use later to make some Gatorade. I have like a full hydration bladder, but it might be nice at some point. It's about 16 miles from where I was camped to the water source. So even though it's overcast now, we all know that can change and the sun can be blazing in a few hours. So I may, since it's here, just take a little ½ liter and use it down the road. Finish up a little breakfast break here. It's too bad the sun's not out. This would be a good place to spend 10 minutes to dry out the rain fly, but no such luck. So we will continue on. So there's something going on with the recent rain and the dirt and mud here. It's kind of like clumping onto my trail runners. Kind of reminds me when it's like soft snow pooling up on your micro spikes. It's like just clumping on and adding mud and weight. So hopefully that goes away soon. Yeah, so been pretty much climbing since the highway. Nothing new there. I was just thinking, I'm glad I'm starting to see some reports on Facebook. They'll probably start showing up on Far Out too, about the snow conditions in the San Juans. This delay for me of doing the red line and sticking to it, I think has let most of the bubble go by me by at least a week, which is good because all the young trailblazers who are gonna tackle the San Juans will get a nice boot print established for me by the time I get there. That sounds good to me. Nine o'clock, just finishing up a little second breakfast with a Kind bar. Have about 10 miles to my water source for the day, the Harris Bear Spring. So just gonna keep making progress towards that and taking breaks along the way. This mud, I just like banged on these shoes for a full minute and there's still this cement mud is hard to get out. So it's just with the recent rain and the soil, it just like clumps like cement. But at some point, I'm sure it'll wear off. So I don't know if this is because the rain from yesterday, but there is some running water down there. I don't need it, but it's nice to know it's there. I don't think it's there all the time though. There were some reports of like standing pools of water, But right now that little stream is running pretty good. Probably thanks to the rain from yesterday. Okay, it's 11 o'clock, taking a little snack break. Have 6 miles to the water source. I think it's gonna be mostly a climb, so it's been pretty much a gradual, steady elevation gain. So we'll just keep on marching up. Yeah, it's overcast, so that's good for the climbing. And it's been pretty quiet this morning. Haven't seen anyone. I feel like for most of the day we've kind of been like in the forest, in the valley, but we're finally up top, which is nice. Hoping to see a little wildlife, but it's been nothing but the random cow here and there. All right, I'm making that Gatorade from the water I got down at the highway. Got about 2.7 to the spring. And I'm hearing a very loud cow, almost sounds like it's in distress. Of course, as soon as I start recording, it stops making noises, but there's something going on with this cow. Well, when I get moving again, I guess we'll see. Getting close to my water source. Unpopular opinion, I've had my fill of cows today. They've been all over the place. I've had to get them out of my way. Of course, there's a lot of baby cows, so I don't want to get mama too protective. And then there was big sections of dirt road, really muddy, and the cows just like tore it up. Not enjoyable. So I think where I'm getting water, there's gonna be more cows, but hopefully they don't sense. I'm pretty just annoyed. I'm over it with the cows today. I've had enough cows for one day. Oh, here's a bunch more. All right, I'm gonna get water and keep moving. Here we go. Okay, I think my water is right where these cows are, so I'll get in and get out quick. Looks like there's one baby calf. Let them know I'm coming. Hopefully it'll give me a little room to do my thing, and then I'll be on my way. Hey, cows. Friendly human coming through. Friendly. Get the babies out of here. Friendly human. Friendly human. Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. I gotta take some water, okay? Just getting some water. Oh. That's the other one. All right, guys. Thank you. All right, hopefully it's this second tank. Yep, I see water coming. Very good. All right. All right, those guys will hopefully leave me be for 10 minutes and they can have the whole place to themselves. Some ranch hands just came by. They're looking after the cows. No cold drinks, although it's a bit raw for a cold drink anyway. But I've finished getting my water, so I'm gonna get this packed up and then go hopefully another 2 to 4 miles. Okay, so about a quarter mile from the where people from the Ghost Ranch will be coming back on the red line. And been climbing since the highway at about 9150 right now. I'm gonna keep climbing. Okay, not 100% sure, but I've got these peaks in the distance. I was wondering if that's Colorado. I think that's, yeah, that might be Rio Grande Pyramid, like 13.7. Maybe Pagosa Peak on the far right. It's wide open up here, it's nice. But look, there's a little structure over there. If it wasn't near the end of the day and me feeling a little spent, I'd go investigate. Man, oh man, big climbing. Just hit the 20-mile mark for the day, and this spot looks good. I don't have to worry too much about shade. It's raining over there. All right, let me get the tent set up in case the rain's coming this way. Yeah, I think this little storm is headed this way. I'm racing to get the rain fly on. Okay, it's 5:30. Do a recap. 20-mile day. Woo! Yeah, overcast all day. Really good hiking conditions. When I left the highway, it was about 6,900 feet in elevation. And now I'm all the way up to 9,500 feet. So, big day of climbing. That rainstorm I showed you as I was putting the tent up, it did come on by. It rained moderately heavy for like 10-15 minutes, but I didn't think it was going to be much, and it's passed on. But there's just no shot of my rainfly drying out today. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, really good day on the trail. I'm tired, but I'm not like sore. This is the kind of day where like ramen soup, hot chocolate, that's all going to be good. I am having some tailwind first before I start having some of the hot stuff. But yeah, really good day. Looking forward to just relaxing. Hopefully I'm high enough up where I'll have decent cell service, but I'll check that in a little bit. And if not, no big deal. But that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow.
We have to give Brian just a little bit of a hard time because he's been so meticulous about all his resupply packages and preparation. So this is resupply package 7 that I'm going to send out before I leave for my quilt retreat. So there should be lots of updates over the next couple days. So the address that he listed is for 128 West 12th Street in Silverton, Colorado, but the post office is actually at 138 West 12th Street. So I made that update, caught that mistake when I went to ship it, so that's good. I'm glad we caught that. So, but yeah, just had to give Brian a little bit of a hard time. I also thought I'd kind of show you what I'm bringing. So if you remember from, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I went up to Portland, Maine to check out a space where we are hosting, my Quilt Guild's hosting a retreat that I'm running. So I'm getting all of that organized. So I'll just kind of show you everything that I'm taking. So this is a pile of stuff that's coming with me. We have my quilt projects. We have some like risers for the cutting tables to make higher snacks for the group. We're doing a Quilt Buddies program this year, so maybe I'll explain a little bit more about that. But that's somebody who can't come to the retreat. That's a retreat is a gift for their buddy. And then this is a bunch of sewing projects that I'm bringing with me. This bag here is another project. The question is, how many quilt projects or too many quilt projects to bring to a retreat? The retreat is Thursday through Sunday, and so you never know what you're going to want to work on. So I think I have 4, maybe 5 different projects that I can work on. Some quilt tops, some bag projects at the store that I'm selling at. I also have a knitting project that I'm bringing, just so if it's in the evening and I've had a day of sewing, I feel like doing something else, I will bring that out and start knitting. And then I can't forget my machine, which is still on our dining room table. So that's everything that I'm bringing with me, plus clothes and my own snacks to have, seltzers, cholesterol friendly snacks for those of you that watched videos last year or the year before. We were talking about what I was taking for hiking, still trying to lower my cholesterol by what I eat, and it's going pretty well. So that's what's happening. I'll work a half day tomorrow and then head up to Portland, Maine. So it should be fun. One more back at home update for folks. Today we had our AC serviced. And so the guy just left. It's about 6 o'clock. So I felt that he was here late, but I mentioned to him that when I turned the air conditioning on for the first time this spring, it didn't turn on, and I had to turn off the breaker and turn it back on, and then it turned on. And he said that's because something, not the condenser, another part that starts with a C, was arcing electricity. So we had to get that fixed, but thankfully it was only like a $200 fix and not a whole new replacement, because the AC is almost 15 years old at this point. So who knows how long it's gonna last, but I'll spend $200 to get it fixed for now. So it was really hot last week and it still worked for and then it's gonna be warm the next couple days too. So it'll be good to have a cool house.